This is one of those games that's just kind of been known about for a while, but never actually played this game. This is Socrates Jones, pro philosopher. Very tongue-in-cheek, but well-made sort of debate. I don't know if I'd call it Ace Attorney style, but it is very much a yeah, it's a debate game. Dialogue, puzzles, poking holes in arguments against and, well, doing philosophy. Poking holes in arguments and causing them to explode, or just tell them their faces are ugly. That's the tagline of the game. Let us dive into the world of philosophy. Prologue. One New York morning. Apparently this used to be a Flash game of some sort, but it was completely rebuilt, released on Steam for free. Morning, Ari. You ready for school? Of course. Guess what? We're talking about John Stuart Mill in class today. Who? You're kidding, right? John Stuart Mill? Oh, wait, I think I know. He's a comedian, right? Moral philosopher? Utilitarianism? I see. He's brilliant. Opened up my eyes to a new way to view the world. Dad? Dad! What? Huh? Were you paying attention to anything I just said? Who? Oh, someone's at the door. You can tell me about this later, okay? Wait, hurry up, I have school in half an hour! My name is Socrates Jones. Everyone in my family seems to care about philosophy, but I could never really get into it. Clearly your parents did, too, given that they named you. Well, I'm just an accountant, after all. Why should I care about the nature of right and wrong? Also, can I just say immediately the use of different dialogue boxes here to convey, like, the tone of the conversation is just neat touch. Well, hey there. Hi? The name's Billy. Billy the salesman. I was traveling this country selling my wares when I saw your shabby apartment and instantly knew there lives a man who appreciates a good deal. Excuse me? How would you like to hear about the fabulous bargains I have for you today? Oh, I'm sorry, I have to take my daughter. What about me? Harry, what are you doing here? I got bored. I just left. Doesn't mean I can't be bored. Who's this guy? I'm glad you asked, little lady. The name's Billy. I'm Billy, the salesman. I was traveling this country selling my wares. Yes. Listen, Billy, I'm sorry, but I really don't want... I think we should hear him out. What? If you don't bother to at least listen, you aren't gonna get anywhere. Thank you, miss. You won't regret it. Pretty sure I will. Okay, Billy, let's hear what you've got. Right. Presentation. I have a great product for you. It's the best there is. You need my product to do what it does. You don't want those pests around. And that's what I've got for you all. Okay, this is Ace Attorney. But you hardly told me anything. Horse feathers, I told you my product was the best, didn't I? What more do you need to know? Ariadne Jones, this is your fault. You didn't tell me anything. What do I do? There's a very clear Greek theming in this family we have going on here. Cretan Princess Ariadne, daughter of King Minos. Generally, one goes about getting more information by asking questions. In this case, it's probably most appropriate to ask for clarification. You can clear up any vagueness surrounding his ideas, you'll be in a much better position to deal with them. Right, okay then. Good. Most arguments are made of multiple statements. Be sure to check them all for anything that seems vague. So what do you think, partner? You buying? Actually, can I hear your pitch again? Sure thing, partner. Ask for clarification option added. Alright. Argument. Cross-examination. Hold it. What kind of product would that be exactly? Billy's deer repellent. What? Oh, okay. That wasn't so hard. Even updated. Hold it. I'm still not exactly sure what that is. Can you clarify for me? Sure thing. You spray it and it repels deer. That's why it's called deer repellent. Oh, right. Makes sense. Try to clarify some of his other statements, too. Okay, different statements will get different responses. Okay. At least deer repellent. It's the best there is. Hold it. And what do you mean by that? Has it won awards? It's the best? It's the best. Better than the rest. It's really good at doing what it does, partner. Right. Guess there's no clarifying this bit of sales speak. And, what does it do exactly? Well, it only protects you from danger. The danger of deer. And trust me, you can use all the protection you can get. This argument's much clearer now. Maybe I do need this deer repellent after all. Are you serious? What? Am I wrong? Dad, you can't just let an argument go unexamined no matter how clearly stated. Especially when someone's trying to talk you into buying deer repellent. I got him to clarify everything. What else is there to do? Come on, Dad. A situation like this, if something seems to be on shaky ground, you need to press for backing. Make sure you can support his statements with foundational ideas. Hello, I'm still here. Right, sorry, can I hear your pitch again? Again? Well, okay. Alright. Round 3. Hold it. Can you back that statement up? Sure thing, partner. My product is everything better than the competing products. Therefore, it is by definition the best. There are competing products? Well, no. But that means, without a doubt, mine's the best. Hey, maybe I should call it Billy's Best Deer Repellent. What evidence do you have to support that statement? You see this bottle in my bag? Yes? They say Billy's Deer Repellent on them. I think it's safe to say that that's the name of the product, don't you? Okay. This is clearly the thing we need to back. We need proof on. Can you back that up? We never know when a deer will attack. And if you don't have my product, you'll be in quite a predicament, partner. Better to be safe than sorry. Hold on, I'm not sure I buy this. We're talking about deer, right? That's right. As in, Bambi? Well, yeah, I guess, partner. I see. Are you really trying to tell me Bambi poses a threat to my well-being? That's going to take quite a bit of convincing. Bambi is dangerous, partner. He may look cute, but that deer's a little monster. Let me tell you why deer are a menace to our society. Oh boy. They eat our crops. They steal our jobs. Every year they cause accidents and injuries. Why, the only reason you're safe is that I'm here with my repellent. And there we go. As you can see, those darn deer threaten our very way of life. A threat, huh? Not sure if everything you've said here is true. You know, Dad, in a debate you can do more than just ask questions. In fact, sometimes that just won't cut it. Oh? Sometimes you may need to challenge your opponent with a counterpoint. Some fact or observation which throws a wrench in the presumption his statement is true. For example, the fact that deer live in the woods might throw a wrench into one of Billy's statements here. If you find that statement, present this observation to counter it, you should be home free. You get a useful idea? I'll write it down for you in the idea slate. Yay! Idea slate. Oh, alright. I'll go ahead and do just that then. I see the idea slate. Need to be careful though, Dad. If you say really stupid things, you'll lose credibility with your audience. Ooh. From now on, your moves can affect your credibility. No! Health bar. If you lose all your credibility, you will forfeit the argument. But wait, hold on. I'm just fact-checking a salesman. Who am I going to lose credibility with? Me. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Your face is all cleared. Oh, no. They eat our crops. They steal our jobs. Hold it. Really? How exactly do they do that? Well, well, you see, corporate sabotage? Corporate sabotage. Okay, they don't actually steal our job. Oh, okay, I see it. I see why that's, set up like that. I was just being dramatic. They were removed! Alright. Back that up. Do you have any evidence to support that deer cause injuries? Have you ever heard of the term deer in the headlights? Well, turns out that comes from real-life deer. They stand in the middle of the road and just get hit. Causes all sorts of horrible crashes. It's quite terrible, believe me. Okay, I buy it. Oh, that's a restart thing.
Nonsense!
Oh, Billy, can you tell me where deer most commonly reside? Forests, mountains, and plains, I reckon, right? That sounds about right. And where are we now? New York City. Exactly. So then tell me, Billy, when was the last time you heard of a deer in New York City? Yeah. It's highly unlikely a deer will show up in any city, let alone in New York. Do you really think you can take credit for the fact that there are no deer around? But, way to go, Dad! Maybe if we were living in the wilderness, we would need your deer repellent. But as we live in the middle of a city, I hardly see the point. I highly doubt Bambi's gonna wander down Main Street. He'd be hit in an instant. Clearly, your repellent is of no use. So I hardly think I need to buy. Now listen here, mister. It seems to me y'all being unfair. I'll admit you have a point, but you are failing to consider all the finer qualities of this here product. Is that so? It sure is. Let me explain to you what y'all are missing. Why my product is still useful to y'all. Oh boy. My product comes in a fine blue casing. Each letter of the label is hand-painted. My grandma toured over the design. Clearly my product would still be useful to you. Ari, I don't think I have any evidence to counter these points. You know, even if a point is supported, it may not be related to the conclusion. If that's the case, it really doesn't matter if it's supported or not. The point has no place being presented in the discussion. I think I get it. You're saying in such situations I should question relevance for the statement. Well, that's what John Stuart Mill would do. It's not useful for us to listen to statements that have no connection to the overall argument. Like how we got one removed from this past argument. We're discussing economics, for example. It really doesn't matter how well you support the fact that purple is the best color. Of course not. We all know green is anyway. Getting back on track. Even if the statement is relevant, questioning can be a great way to see how everything fits together. Guess I should go forward with questioning him then. Alright. Got a full slate of. How is this related to your conclusion? Blue is pretty, partner. Go on. Therefore, the fact that my product is pretty makes it more useful. I don't think so. How is this related to your conclusion? Oh, just craftsmanship. And, things being done by machine. That's not craftsmanship. Okay, great. But how does this craftsmanship make your product more useful? Okay, fine. You made your point. Let's move on. How is this related to your conclusion? Quality takes effort, partner. Surely the amount of time my grind poured into it contributes to its value. Not really? Heartless. Just heartless. No respect for the elderly. Very well, have it your way, partner. Billy. Don't hurt me. Oh, the yelling. It's too much for my heart to bear. Relax, I'm not gonna hurt you. Just your sales pitch. Oh, okay, that's good. Wait, no. Actually, I don't think I like that. I'm afraid there's no avoiding it. Really, you're trying to sell me a product based on its usefulness to me. Its aesthetic qualities and methods of manufacturing, while nice, offer no function which benefits me. At this point, you're grasping at straws to convince me to buy your product, and you know it. Well, okay then. Huh? It's been nice chatting with you, but I've got clients to find. There are many fish in the sea, and it's clear you ain't one of mine. Oh, okay. Bye. Well, that was fun. Fun? I think you mean infuriating. How much time do you have left before school? Relax, Dad. I'm sure I'm fine. We still have, Oh, um... a negative half an hour? What? We gotta get going! Can't believe we lost track of time. It's all that fool Billy's fault. Billy and his idiotic deer repellent. I can be late for school and you'll probably be expelled and your mother will never forgive me. Not that she talks to me more anymore anyways. Oh no. Divorced. Divorced energy. The best of its kind. It's not competing with anything. I mean, what would it compete with? Harry's deer varnisher? Dad. Honestly, people believe they can sell you on anything these days, wasting our time. The nerve. They think we're a bunch of fools. Dad, watch the road. Dad! We can just be convinced we should buy a stupid product we'll never, ever need. I mean, aesthetic qualities, I ask you. Dad, look out! Oh no! And we fucking died. Chapter 1. Through the Looking Glass. Where Socrates Jones fucking dies. Hey look! A new arrival! You think he's okay? Of course he's not okay, Rousseau. He wouldn't be here if he was okay. Well, maybe he's okay in the spiritual sense. Ooh, my head. I didn't think it was possible to feel this much pain. Hold on, he's coming too. Hey, buddy, what's your name? Socrates. Sorry, didn't quite catch that. It's Socrates. Did he say Socrates? Instant credibility boost. Oh my god. Oh my god. He's back. He's back. Socrates is back. Quick, let's take him to the arbiter. Huh? Hold on. What? No. I'll be down. What? What? What is going on? Where have you taken me? Greetings, great thinker Socrates. That... demon? Please don't eat me. This is not the great thinker Socrates. The great thinker Socrates was much wiser and far more bearded. Yeah, I could have told you that. Oh, hi, Ari. Oh, thank God you're okay. Did it hurt you? Hi, Dad. Oh, you are kin to Ariadne Jones, a sharp thinker. We were just discussing the nature of existence. Suppose I should introduce myself. I am the arbiter, overseer of the intelligible realm. The what now? The what realm? The intelligible realm, the realm of ideas. The plane from which all of thought originates, and the final resting place for those who concern themselves with the art of philosophy. The final... Wait, hold on a moment, I'm not... Do not worry, Socrates. Your presence here is entirely a mistake. You are no philosopher, after all. Your interesting name must have confused the existential sorting algorithm. Must have a word with Turing. And, Ari? Still alive. Her knowledge, I am sure, contributed to this misfiling. Oh, thank God. Okay, not that I'm enjoying this peek behind the mortal curtain, but, what does that mean for us? Well, Ariadne Jones? I suppose it means you can leave. But where did that come from? That wasn't there a moment ago. Right now, in the real world, you are unconscious. Comatose may be more appropriate. The moment you step through the gate, you will wake up in your hospital bed in New York, in a large amount of pain, but alive. It's going to be painful? It would be, yes. But you have no need to worry now, Socrates. There is no pain in your future. Oh? Got out of the crash uninjured? Not exactly. You don't mean... Oh, I was joking about Socrates Jones fucking dies. But I apologize for the confusion. I've Said Socrates was not a philosopher, and never meant to imply he was not dead. When you leave, we will get him filed away to the appropriate afterlife. One involving a lot of numbers, I suppose. Is this a joke to you, Arbiter? No, it is simply the way of the world. You have a life, he does not. There is no way he can possibly leave. But you can't just... He's my dad! Ari, stop, please. But... Look, as much as I hate it, I'm not sure we can talk our way out of this one. So for now, just listen, okay? This might be the last time we get to speak. Will you just... You know I love you, and tell your mother I'm sorry for me, please. I'm going to do your homework and water the plants, and don't stay out too late. But if you do... Arbiter, can I talk to you for a moment? Of course. What? Ari, I was... Hold that thought, Dad. I'll be right back. I was saying my goodbyes. This is kind of killing my moment. Well, Socrates, I must amend my initial statements. There is, in actuality, one way out. There is? Yes. An ancient wager set down by the original arbiter and reserved for the best of thinkers. After talking with your daughter, I have decided to offer you a chance at this challenge. If you can provide an answer to one of the great philosophical questions, the nature of mortality, one request will be granted. An answer? Yes, a way to think about morality that is internally consistent and compatible with the realities of the world. However, in this game you're only allotted one chance. If I find your answer uninsightful, I'm stuck here. Correct. All parties involved must remain here for eternity. But if he is able to find the nature of morality, we can both walk through that door. Correct. Okay, alright, fess up. What on earth did you do? Not much. I just told him you were actually a brilliant debater, is all. What? Are you crazy? I'm an accountant. I can't. I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but we both know I don't know anything about philosophy. Look, it's not like you're going to be alone. I'm going to stay, and there are people here who know even more than I do. Just give it a shot, please. Rules really don't stop me from asking others for help? No, they do not. However, you have to use your own judgment to determine whether the ideas that others provide meet the criteria established. I know I am going to regret this. Very well then, Arbiter. I accept your wager. So be it. The door will be open when you have completed your task. I wish you luck. Well, I suppose I should get started. Can anyone here help me find the nature of morality? Good job. What is that? Sounds like an earthquake. Really? I thought it was more like a football game. Now you've done it. Huh? Me, talk to me. I know the answer, I swear I do. Morality is purely conceptual, it cannot be defined. No, morality is found in the circumference of the moon. Ugh, what the hell? Let me go. I have to do something. What? Is he not getting help? You call this help? They're gonna tear him apart. Very well, if you insist. Silence! One of you will come forward at a time, and no more. Now, which of you thinks they can help this accountant answer his question? I believe I can. Euthyphro? Of course, Euthyphro of Athens. How do you fare? Quite well, noble arbiter. Who's this guy? Euthyphro was a prominent religious scholar and priest back in ancient Greece. He famously debated your namesake many millennia ago. Indeed, my pious ways were known and respected throughout the land. As a sophist, it was my job to educate those who were ignorant, such as yourself. Ah, I see. Hey, wait a minute! Listen, my child, and I will share my insight with you. All right, good is what is holy. My religious studies have given me insight into the nature of right and wrong. Human beings are fallible and vain. They make mistakes. God, however, is a superior being. Everyone possesses wisdom far beyond our own. Thus, whatever God commands must be good. God is good, okay. The source of morality is God. Grand. There you have it, the source of morality. Mankind is flawed? Morality comes from the gods. Is there a problem, child? Well, I'm not exactly religious. I see. Poor, unfortunate soul, having strayed so far from the light. If you allow your mind to remain clouded, you will never win your way out of here. Clouded, huh? Sorry? Listen, Dad. Euthyphro's argument benefits from its simple nature, but I can't help but feel like he's making it seem more simple than it actually is. Okay, so what can I do? Sometimes by examining an argument closely, you can find assumptions that were previously unstated. Bet you could find something here like that. More information is always useful and can help you get the bigger issues. Well, Socrates, is this the answer you seek? I don't think I'm ready to bet my life on the gods just yet, Arbiter. Euthyphro? Euthyphro? I think I need to ask you a few questions. All right, Dad, good luck. Alright, what do you mean by that? Looks like you're confused about Socrates. I understand your mind is clouded, child, but I believe my statement is clear. My studies of religious texts have given me insight far beyond your own. Ow. What do you mean by that? Human beings are prone to error. They often make incorrect judgments as to what is right and wrong. Is that clear now, my child? What do you mean by that? God's abilities far beyond our comprehension. These abilities render them superior to us mere mortals. Everyone? Excuse me? You said everyone. Your point, child. Well, I've been assuming you were referring to the commands of a specific deity, but... Well, which god are we talking about? Oh, gods, give me the strength to deal with this ingrate. That doesn't answer my question. Right now, is there a particular god giving you strength? Does it matter? There are many gods. Greek, Hebrew, Egyptian, Norse. There are differences between them, but any would fit the ideas I described here. There are different gods. Alright. I see. Good work, Dad. Huh? You've uncovered an unstated part of Euthyphro's views by closely examining his argument. Finding things like this can really help you out. If you don't have enough tools, the person you are debating may just hand you some. Now get back in there and find the larger problem. Wait, hold on. Telling me this idea is going to be useful? I don't know. Maybe. Supposed to figure this out yourself, remember? I think I'm already pushing the helping you threshold, dead guy. Right. Good things are good because gods like them. What do you mean? Simply that the gods are the source of morality. There isn't a better place from which to receive guidance. Can you back that up? My child, who is more fit to judge morality, a wise man or a fool? The wise man, of course. As all gods have infinite wisdom, we should defer to their judgment. Thus, gods are the ideal source of morality. Can you back that up? Being immortal, the gods have had infinite years of learning and experience. Their mortality gives them perspective we cannot hope to achieve. Wait, isn't everyone here immortal in a sense? No, we are all dead, child. There's a difference. Wisdom is derived from experience with the world, and our experiences in that regard have ended. Speak for yourself, I'm not done yet. Everyone... Let me back that up. My child, can you throw lightning or create storms? Did you create the world in 7 days? Did you turn your daughter into a tree for her own protection? Want to be a tree? Well, no. Well, my child, each of these things was done by a god. Clearly they are superior. I feel like... This is what's wrong with your argument, is it, child? I think so? I'm not so sure. There we go. Euthyphro. If we could stop for a moment, I'd like to clear up a few things. You said different religions have different gods, right? Yes, child. And sometimes these gods have different views. Indeed. Piety comes in many forms. Okay. Dad, is something up? I don't know. May have found a problem there? Really? That's great. Go ahead and present it. Dad? Sorry, this is just a little intimidating. Everyone laughs at me. Just present it, Dad. No one's gonna laugh at you. This isn't some de-repellent salesman. This is the real deal. Real things are at stake here, like me. Dad, just present it. Okay. Euthyphro, there's a problem with your position. Is that so, child? It is so. Look, you claim morality comes from the gods, that we can trust whatever they command is right. But if the gods disagree, that puts your idea in a weird place. You yourself said we can't just judge their wills for ourselves. But when different gods think different things are good, what would actually be good? That would make the gods impossible to use as a source of morality. Right? That was a pretty lackluster presentation, Dad. Hey! While this may be true, the validity of an argument is not rooted in style points. Despite lacking both flair and vocabulary, Socrates has a valid point, as I believe you already know, Euthyphro. Yes, as I recall, the first Socrates made very similar points. And what, you just decided to ignore them? Arrogant son of a... Like you, he lacked the faith required to see the truth. Your blasphemy will not take you as far as you think. Poor child, let me show you where you have lost your way. It is true different deities have different desires in my religion and between religions. I admit this may be a source of confusion. However, there are many points at which these divine beings agree. For example, most deities agree it is wrong to kill without cause. Clearly what the gods agree upon is always good. Is that better, child? Well said, Euthyphro. Thank you, arbiter. As you can see, my child, the gods overcome all obstacles. What are you thinking, Dad? Well, this argument's certainly more nuanced now. Something tells me it still won't stand up to examination. I'm sorry, Euthyphro, but I still have some questions for you. Here we go. Alright, can you back that up? Do I need to? You yourself supported this point 5 minutes ago. Did you not believe it yourself? No. I definitely... Yeesh. Okay. We'll leave that point be. What do you mean by that? Just because gods disagree on some things does not mean they disagree on all. Can you back that up? Be patient, my child. I'll get to it. Fair enough? What do you mean by that? I think this is pretty clear, child. Take the life of another is wrong. Many gods agree about this, don't you? What do you mean by that? If the gods agree upon something, we can be sure it's that something is good. Their collective wisdom is incalculable after all. Can you back that up? Excuse me. Why couldn't something the gods agree on be bad? Ooh, the gods in their superior wisdom would never agree upon something that wasn't good. They would only tell us to do things that would lead to positive ends. Suggest otherwise is blasphemy. Huh, interesting. Indeed. If you don't mind, I think I'd like to further examine that idea. Woohoo! What do you mean by that? If the gods look at something, they would not all agree upon it unless it was clearly moral or immoral. Can you back that up? If established gods possess infinite wisdom, have we not? While there may be some slight variance between them, these infinitely wise beings will surely come down to the same side when dealing with important matters. Like the aforementioned example of murder. Don't know what to do, Ari. It seems to have fixed so many of the problems with his previous argument. Did it? Just because all the same words are there doesn't mean the argument falls the same way. Think very carefully about how this might be different from what was heard before. Back to the top, clearly I'm missing something here. Different deities have different desires. Back this up. Can you back that up? Are you familiar with the Quran? Anyone who kills a human being, it shall be as though he has killed all of mankind. In Hinduism, he who commits murder must be considered as the worst offender. There are countless examples throughout religions. Still getting used to debating here. Incorrect. If things are good, the gods will agree on them. What the gods agree upon is always good. What now, child? Yeesh! He's glaring at me again. No, pull yourself together, Socrates. You have a point to make, so make it! Did you intend to speak, child, or did you just shout nonsense for your own amusement? Right, sorry. Okay, Euthyphro. The core of your argument is that morality comes from the gods, right? Yes, my child. This is true because gods would only command what is good, yes? Also true. There may be hope for you yet. Is that so? Because I think you just revealed a major problem in your argument. What? I have no idea what you mean, child. Really? Well, then let me ask you one last question. Are things good because the gods command them? Or do gods merely command things because they are good? What? What? Look, Euthyphro, you have said over and over again that the gods would never ask us to do something bad. That they restrict their commands to things which would be good for mankind. But in order for this to be true, wouldn't the things they command have to already be good? They would need to have value rooted in something other than the gods. Oh, nice catch, Dad. The fact is, even in a world where gods existed, they could not be the source of good. It would merely serve to point out good things which already exist. Good things that are good because of other things. Excellent point, Socrates Jones. Very clearly presented. I agree. But maybe I should coach you on vocab. Things isn't exactly a scholarly term. Thanks, I think. But I'm most concerned with Euthyphro's thoughts. What do you say, Euthyphro? You look shocked. Are moral actions good because the gods command them? Or do the gods command moral actions because they are good? No. No! Just as I thought. You've got nothing. You talk a big game, but you clearly haven't thought your points through. There's no way I could accept this argument as my own. It's too whole-y. Insolent wretch! I tried to help save you, and this is how you repay me. You won't last win your way out of here, child. The gods will smite you for your blasphemy. Will they? Somehow I think I'll be fine. I've already died once after all. What more can happen? There are no limits on the extent of smiting. Just you wait. I'll smite you twice. It'll be nothing but a pile of dust, of smolder. A warning to all dare we insult gods. Silence! Leave. We have heard enough. I believe we've heard enough from you, Euthyphro. Socrates was right to question you. In the end, your philosophy failed to measure up. Go ahead and reflect upon this. But go and reflect. Yes, arbiter. Ooh. Alright. Our first battle won. An old friend appears. Okay, Dad. Regress. Do deteriorate into an earlier state? Okay. Fallacy. A logical flaw. I can't believe I'm being quizzed on vocabulary by my daughter. And qualification. Come on, Dad. Something you need to qualify? Like a law degree. Close enough. Can we stop now? I like to think that Socrates was, like, born into a family of high-thinking philosophy fans. And just loved math. Started a family of his own, and then at least fine with the Greek theming that his parents gave him. Started a family of his own, and Ari here clearly picked up the family bug. And he's just an ordinary math nerd, accountant. Can we stop now? Depends. Promise not to stumble all over yourself like last time? Hey, I didn't do too badly in the end. I earned all the style points. Yeah, you were at least smart enough not to accept Euthyphro's ideas. But I could have done without the holy pun. I'm trying to keep our spirits up. I'm allowed a bad pun or two. I'm your dad, and as such, I will invoke dad jokes whenever needed. This is your way of doing that? Arbiter, who's next? There are many philosophers in the intelligible realm. One, however, has come forth with the claim he knows you personally. Knows me? Yes. But that makes no sense. How could he possibly know you? I don't know. Maybe one of my old fraternity friends became a famous philosopher without me knowing? One of your friends? I doubt that. Well met, Socrates, my old friend and colleague. I believe I can help you on your quest to find the nature of morality. Great, thanks. Actually, I don't believe we've ever met before. What? Oh, come now. You must remember me. Look at this face. Surely a name comes to mind. Heisenberg? Ah. You can tell the era this game was made in. Protagoras! Who could you have forgotten? We debated in Athens millennia ago. But I've never even been to Athens. I thought we already resolved this dispute. I thought we already resolved this misunderstanding when we first came here. Are you not the great thinker Socrates? No. No. Well, to be fair, I'm a Socrates, but enough. Even if you have sadly forgotten me, my old friend, I would be happy to share my lessons with you. Well then, let us hold our discussion together in our own persons, making trial of the truth and ourselves. Alright, Protagoras. Simple elimination will demonstrate morality can only come from one place. Your conversation with Euthyphro has demonstrated that morality doesn't come from the gods. And clearly morality does not originate from the rocks and the trees. Thus, the only possible source of morality is human valuing. As you can see, man is truly the measure of all things. I hope my lesson was informative, my old friend. I've told you by Pythagoras, I don't know you. Chill, Dad, at least he's being polite. You don't know how that will change if he discovers you're an accountant. What's wrong with being an accountant? It's a perfectly acceptable profession. Well, Socrates Jones, what do you think? Has Protagoras found the nature of morality? Is he trying to bait me? I think I'd like to ask a few questions before I make that decision. Certainly, my friend. Ask away. Alright, let's give this another go. Alright. What do you mean by that? When all other possible sources of morality are eliminated, the one that remains is indubitably true. This is how I intend to prove my conclusion. Say, in the sense that there's some cases that are kind of obviously bad points to press. I'll just kind of make that judgment on the fly, so I'm not running through. I mean, yes. Can you explain what you mean? I think my statement is pretty clear. If you need to reference the source, please review your last argument. Alright. Yes? What do you mean by that? Morality is not derived from nature. The flow of the river, the movement of the clouds. Such things do nothing for our judgment. What about the circumference of the moon? Also irrelevant. Good to know. I knew that suggestion was ridiculous. What evidence do you have to back that up? Being a system that governs the actions of humans, there's little reason to believe morality comes from the things that grow around us. Thus, in this case, I believe the burden of proof lies on you. Unless you can provide some evidence showing morality does come from the rocks and trees, I think Protagoras' assumption stands. Right, okay then. Moving right along. Human valuing, what does that mean? My apologies. You see, morality is a matter of preference. As a result, it is different for each person. Therefore, whatever an individual believes to be right is right. Ah, okay. What do you mean by that? Sorry, my friend, but I'm not sure how to clarify further. Can you back that up? It's the only remaining option, my friend. Is that not enough? Hold on, Protagoras. Yes, friend? Look, I understand what you're going for here, but I can't help but feel an argument based entirely on elimination is a bit weak. I mean, no matter how many sources you eliminate, there's always the possibility there are others you've overlooked. If I'm to accept your argument, I would like it to be supported by something more. Indeed, I was just thinking the same thing. Yes, I suppose you have a point. You are just as insightful as I remember, Socrates. Very well. Let us approach this lesson from a different angle. Alright, that was easy. So a more detailed testimony on this point. When it comes down to it, morality is a matter of values. However, different people form different values. There are no things upon which everyone can agree. It would be arrogant to presume that any position is wrong. Thus, we can only conclude that morality is entirely relative to the individual. And there we go. Huh, how interesting. I like this argument. It says I can do whatever I want. That's not what he's saying! At least I hope not. Well, Socrates, once again I'd like to ask a few questions. Of course, my friend, ask away. This is a much more pleasant discussion than our first one with Euthyphro. Matter of values, yes? What do you mean? By values, I mean the personal preference of the individuals. For example, one may hold certain actions in very high esteem, noble sacrifice, for instance, while holding nothing but disgust for other actions like wanton thievery. I do hate when people steal my wontons. If you truly are confused, I recommend you check a dictionary. Different values? Yes, people believe in different things. They have different preferences. You have to admit, Dad, that's pretty clear. I disagree. What do you mean by that? Not only many people's values differ, but that they may lead them to make entirely contradictory conclusions, much like the gods of Euthyphro. This is true. What do you mean by that? It is not our place to decide if another's moral perspective is wrong. What do you mean by that? Relative to the individual, I mean that each person may decide for himself what is right and what is wrong. I believe the context should help illuminate my point. Can you back that up? I believe I just did. Oh, we don't actually have anything... At least he's built his argument up now. A little bit more. I'm still not sure I'm willing to bet my life on it. Surely morality can't be that subjective. Guess there's nothing to do but start from the top again. Not that hard to believe. Is that so? You remember our old Athenian democracy, do you not? Sure, why not? Well then, surely you must also remember that on most issues, people disagreed on what was the right way to vote. Some thought our penalties for crime were too harsh, while others thought our penalties were not harsh enough. Why, as you know, it was even argued you should be put to death for speaking out. Wait, what? Oh, speech penalty. Why would it be arrogant? Oh, come now. Do you really believe we can say one who believes eating pie is immoral is more correct than one who is against eating cake? Wait, what? That's a rather silly example coming from an academic. As you can see, there's no way we can say one moral system is better than another. I guess. Arrogant to presume. I mean, I can challenge it with this, because this seems entirely...
Nonsense!
Yes. What if right there, old friend? I still can't buy your argument. I claim it's impossible to say someone else's values are wrong, but that's simply not true. I'm saying this value is wrong. Those people are wrong. Oh, come now, old friend. Not impossible. Arrogant. Do you really believe we can say one who believes eating pie is immoral is more than I'd like to put forth a different example? You yourself said there are individuals who believe that those who speak out should be executed, did you not? Of course. I was thinking about the position of these individuals, and it occurred to me, without a free and open debate, we wouldn't even be able to discuss the things we are here. Oh, excellent observation, Socrates. Thank you, Arbiter. Protagoras, for just a moment, consider the consequences of that argument. If free speech were punished so, society would stagnate. Science and thought would come to a halt. Such side effects should not result from logical thinking. But, yeah. Free speech is one of many things now considered to be rights. Society is improved by their existence. Can you really argue that those who believe such things should be persecuted have Can you really argue that those who believe such things should be persecuted have validity? I hardly think it arrogant to express doubts in this position. Yeah, this is actually kind of impressive. Indeed, well constructed, Socrates. The fact is, while you can argue most things are based upon the individual, your philosophy falls apart when dealing with extremes. Such positions are indefensible regardless of what an individual thinks. And thus, morality cannot be entirely determined by the individual.
Nonsense!
Ooh, I appreciate the energy, old friend, and you have raised some good points. I must confess, though, I'm a little confused as to why you have suddenly changed your position on free speech. Uh-oh. Wait, what? The original Socrates was anti-free speech, Dad. Oh, come to think of it, that didn't stop him from complaining when he was put to death for blasphemy. Original Socrates was a bit of a hypocrite. Everyone makes mistakes. Is the Arbiter going to be the original Socrates? I'm calling that spot now. Oh, regardless, my counter-argument is solid, right? No, not quite. What? You raised some good points, but not perfect points. Give me a moment, and I will show you the flaws in what you just proposed. Alright. It is true, my friend, that most people agree on such things such as free speech. However, that does not mean such things are universal goods. For example, if one was to yell fire in a crowded theater, causing mayhem and panic, it is hard to see how that instance of speech would then be good. Yeah, that is the next logical step in this topic of conversation. As morality is affected by situation, it cannot be objective. And there you have it. Rights as a legal institution may be good, but the morality of how you use them can vary. Very interesting points. Very well. Socrates, you may now ask Protagoras your questions. Of course, Arbiter. I know... What do you mean by that? Simply put, nothing is absolute. When we think something is a universal truth, we're probably failing to account for all possibilities. Yeah, Protagoras is a real person, but the name Protagoras also screams like I am coming up with an ancient Greek protagonist. And I'm not good at coming up with names. Yes. Okay, how's that related to your conclusion? I am detailing my objection to your objection. How objectionable? Fair enough. Can you back that up for me? Patient, my friend, that is the next part of my lecture. What do you mean by that? Yelling things to deliberately create panic hardly seems an unquestionable good, does it? That is all I am trying to say here. Can you back that up for me? I really don't see what's wrong with yelling. Oh no, Socrates. What? Fire? Where? God damn it, Voltaire, were you playing with matches again? My God, we're all going to die. We are already dead, and we're going to die. Ah! Gentlemen, worry not, there is no fire. Socrates, refrain from causing unnecessary panic in the future. Sorry. Ahem. Old friend, I believe you have just demonstrated my point. You should always have the right to speak carelessly. That does not mean doing so is good. I think my statement is pretty clear, my friend. Your argument simply does not hold water. Morality still comes with the individual. What do we have here? Is that what he's saying? Can you back that up? I think I just did. How is this related to your conclusion? That is my conclusion. Is it? I mean, if I remember correctly, your philosophy is that morality comes with the individual, right? Yes, my friend, that is correct. I see. Protagoras, you've indeed raised an interesting counterpoint to mine. Thank you, old friend. Does that mean you are ready to accept the validity of my teachings? On the contrary, you see, you've also demonstrated why it would be foolish to do so. What? You just argued that morality can be affected by situation, correct? Yes. Actions that would be correct in one place could be incorrect in another. Indeed. Where are you going with this? It's an interesting observation, but it runs against the grain of what you said earlier. If morality is affected by situation, then there are clearly factors other than the individual at play. Oh, wow, that's right. I don't believe it. It seems to me you have two choices, but both have the same result. You can either maintain the assertion that morality is situation dependent, and your philosophy is undermined, or you could retract it, thus giving credibility to my original complaint. Either way, the idea that morality is entirely individual is thrown into question. What do you have to say to that? Uh-oh. Ha! Socrates, your rhetorical techniques have not dulled in all these years. Perhaps my position is indeed on shakier ground than I realized. You've given me much to consider. I could write a thesis on it all. And you too, Protagoras. You just may have been onto something with your idea that the correct action can change based on situation. Finding out why it does, that's going to be the hard part. Protagoras, you are dismissed. Thank you for your input. Thank you, arbiter. Socrates, I believe you have it in you to win this great wager, just as you did before. Wait, what? Goodbye, my old friend. What did he mean, as you did before? Ah, I thought you would have figured it out by now. Huh? Taking on the Arbiter's challenge is no easy task. In fact, throughout all of time, only one has ever had his wish granted. Only one. Yes, your namesake. The great thinker Socrates, the wisest man in Athens. Unlike the other philosophers, Socrates was never sure of his ideas. He was always questioning, always challenging himself and others in pursuit of the truth. Never satisfied with any of the answers that were provided, until he disappeared. Disappeared? Yes, without a trace. Simply vanished into the aether, never to be seen again. What happened to him? Was his wish to leave? No one is quite sure. The last person to see Socrates on this plane was René Descartes. According to Descartes, the only thing Socrates said was, "I found it." He found it? The answer. Oh, wow. That's my namesake? I really hope I'm not expected to live up to that. Social contract. Interesting. Alright, Chapter 3, The Social Contract. We're getting Rousseau, John Locke, or Thomas Hobbes. The original Socrates may have bested the Arbiter's challenge, but we're two philosophers down and I don't feel any closer to our goal. Always seems to be just out of reach, doesn't it? Do not worry. There are still near infinite perspectives to examine. In fact, I already have another philosopher ready for you to debate. Wonderful. So who's the next philosopher? Is it another Greek dude? Because frankly, I'm getting sick of Greek dudes. No, this one is British. Ooh, how exciting. Yes, I am simply ecstatic. What's the matter, Socrates? Do you no longer wish to continue? Hold on, never said that. Of course I wish to continue. Dad. Very well then, give me a moment, Socrates, and I will bring the new philosopher out. British dude, so that narrows it down a little bit. Hello? Arbiter, are you sure this is the right guy? He isn't doing anything. Maybe he's dead. Well, technically... Humbug! Hey, you can speak! Of course I can speak, you silly girl. I just chose not to. You waste time with small words, and small words are the money of fools. Arbiter, who is this guy? You may refer to me as Thomas Hobbes. Ah, yep, there he is. You should know, Mr. Jones, my mother gave birth to twins. Myself and Fear. So Thomas Hobbes was the first to present the social contract. The other two names were both had their own variation on the social contract theory. John Locke and Rousseau. At the end of the day, you'll be thoroughly acquainted with both of us. Well, geez, isn't he a dramatic one? Hobbes, you may present your argument. Of course, Arbiter. Allow me to begin by describing to you the natural state of man. The natural state, men find themselves equal and in competition for resources. Being selfish, they will go to any lengths to achieve their desires. This sets them at odds with every other man, creating a constant state of war. Ceaseless conflict makes life nasty, brutish, and short. And there we go, the natural state of mankind. Mankind is selfish, but wait, is it nothing about morality? Of course not. In the natural state, there is no morality. There's nothing binding us to respect one another. Nothing stopping us from killing each other. What? Well, that's depressing. And ridiculous. Of course there's a sense of right and wrong. However, there's no way this philosophy can possibly be the correct answer. You seem rather sure of yourself, Mr. Jones. Shall I put your theories to the test? Gladly. You work together. All right. Careful. What do you mean by that? Left to their own devices, men will all want the same things, but they cannot all get them. Alright, back that up. Mr. Jones, in the natural state, no man orders any about their about. They all compete, as equals, using only their natural facilities. Things we desire, food, water, and shelter, for example, they are not unlimited in quantity. The amount of people wanting vastly outstrips the quantity of the wanted. As a result, men must compete for their desires. What do you mean by that? Men see what they want, and they will grub and squabble if necessary to get it, even to the extent of stabbing each other in the back. Back that shit up. Tell me, Mr. Jones, why do you stand here debating philosopher after philosopher? Do you simply do it for the fun of it? No, it's the only way I can get home. Exactly. Like all men, you are motivated by personal interest. So motivated that you will try something you, as an accountant, are not inclined to do. Think. Ooh. As you can see, my point stands strong. Can you clarify that for me? Constant state of war. Able to achieve the same ends, men must fight to gain the upper hand. The world, force, and fraud are the only cardinal virtues. Eesh, talk about a bleak view of humanity. Back that shit up. I can be so sure. As men will do anything possible to achieve their goals, and they all want the same thing. In the natural state, they have nothing to do but fight. Will two starving men ever let the other have the last slice of bread? Will two people in love with the same subject ever concede with ease? Of course not. The natural state, when people want the same thing, they fight for it. Thus, men are at war, always and forever. You're a real pleasant bloke. Is that so? What do you mean by that? Everyone fights endlessly from womb to the grave. This tends to lend itself to a low standard of living. And you support that? Indeed, in 3 parts. The first is that it is nasty. The natural state, one of constant war, death is everywhere. Disease, discomfort. Second is that it is brutish. With constant war, men are driven to do terrible things to one another, relying on brute strength to overcome one another. Instead of arguing with you, I'd be beating you over the head with a rock. The third, that it is short. It is clear that long ago, when men lived in their natural state, their lives are much shorter than ours are today. The average age of death was in the mid-20s. You'd be considered a very old man indeed. And so my statement is supported. As portrait's so absolute and grim. No one can't be right. Why is this guy so respected? There's no way this will win my way home. Be careful, Dad. Wish you would stop saying that. I can handle this. I need to find the problem and point it out so we can have a discussion with someone who actually knows what he's talking about. So we have to walk into a trap here. Hobbes, your argument here is about as weak as they come. I think that people are in a constant state of war, but I see people cooperate every day. Is that so? Yes! Societies are, in fact, built upon such cooperation. Employees in a business collaborate to create a product. Construction workers get together to build a house. Doctors work together to save their patients. Philosophers work together to find the truth. Exactly! Thank you, Arbiter. Well, Thomas Hobbes, if people were always at war, none of these things would be possible. Society as we know it couldn't exist. What do you have to say to that? I say, you are merely an observer of the obvious, Mr. Jones. What? You insult my intelligence. Do you really think I hadn't considered such things? A sense of morality is what allows us to cooperate in such a fashion. But, wait, hold on. You said earlier that there was no morality. Indeed. The natural state, that is true. However, as such a state is extremely uncomfortable, we have long since moved beyond it. Allow me to explain to you, Mr. Jones, the step you have missed. Part 2 of my testimony. So I conveniently held back to beat you. There's the social contract. At the core of mankind's self-interest is survival. However, in the natural state, there is no security. Thus, mankind is impelled to seek peace, forming contracts between individuals. This is why Ari was telling him to be careful. Because, yes, that was a bleak view of humanity, but Ari obviously knows who Thomas Hobbes is. It's from such exchanges our sense of morality is born. And there you have it. The moral rules, our society, our political systems, they all come from the social contract. A very compelling argument indeed. How did this happen? Thought for sure we were ready to move on. Walked right into this one, Dad. Helped him set it up and everything. Hobbes is one of the most prominent social contract philosophers. It only naturally took his argument in this direction. What? You knew this? Why didn't you warn me? Sorry, just assumed you already knew. I mean, that's kind of... it's not uncommon knowledge, you know? Is there a problem, Socrates? Or are you ready to accept the truth of my argument? This argument seems pretty solid now, that's for sure. And something built on a premise so grim. Can't just accept it without examination. Arbiter, I'd like to ask Mr. Hobbes a few questions. Scholastic thinking. I hardly see the attraction in it. Come now, Hobbes. Very well, Mr. Jones. Give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. What do you mean by that? Above all else, we want to live. Power and knowledge don't mean anything to the dead. So you're stuck forever debating in some twisted philosophical afterlife. I have to get out of here. What do you mean by that? In the natural state, anyone is free to do whatever they please. This includes actions which would cause harm to other people. You were in the natural state, and I felt the desire I could kill you without consequence, Mr. Jones. Assuming you were not already dead, of course. Are you threatening me? I hope you understand just how little security the natural state affords. So what do you mean by contracts? Indeed, this could use some elaboration. Very well. By contract, I refer to an agreement between individuals. In such contracts, we agree to give up some of our personal freedoms, most notably our freedom to harm. Because others do as well, such an agreement confers upon to everyone greater security. Ah, interesting. Agreeing to give up freedoms in exchange for security. Mutual forfeiture of rights creates a society where everyone is more secure. Most of the benefits of the social contract come from other people giving up their rights. That is correct. Interesting. Can you support that statement? You yourself gave countless examples of people working together. Do those not suffice? When the stronger man agrees to guard the weak in exchange for pay, in that instant, a contract is formed. Alright, what do you mean with that? I mean to say that morality comes with a social contract. We form treaties, and these treaties determine what we are allowed to do. And back that up. Assuming as we have that the natural state exists, in the natural state man is free to do whatever he pleases. We conclude the restrictive morality we all know comes from contracts formed between men. But you believe mankind is selfish, right? It's just my thought. Yeah, we do have this. Well, let's see. Back that up. Our previous discussion illustrated the dangers of the natural state, Mr. Jones. How can we know that state actually exists? It did, more or less, in the distant past. Before civilizations developed, ancient man was in much the same condition as he would be before in the natural state. All this is supported by archaeology as well as the study of modern hunter-gatherer societies. You're certainly good at this. He's famous for a reason, Dad. We finished, Mr. Jones. Can't show weakness with these people, they're like sharks. There's got to be a problem here, this can't be the answer. Can you back that up? Hey, Mr. Jones, do you enjoy being dead? It hasn't been so bad, actually. Oh? Yeah, it's been great. Been meeting cool people like you. Been mistaken for a several thousand-year-old missing person. Of course I'd rather still be alive. I need to live. Very lively, I'll have you know. Think most people at my age would do anything to stay alive, and I just made your point for you. Indeed, you have my gratitude, Mr. Jones. Why'd they do this if they are inherently selfish? Okay. Hold it right there, Hobbes. I'll admit the individual parts of your philosophy sound good on paper. They don't work quite so well when viewed as a whole. Is that so? And to explain. Gladly. Your social contract theory is based on the idea that people are selfish, correct? Indeed. They will go to any lengths to improve their own prosperity. Correct. Which is why contracts must be formed. I am a little confused. What exactly is the problem, Socrates? Isn't it apparent by now? The only benefits of the social contract come from other people giving up their rights. If people are as selfish as you claim, what is there to stop these oh-so-selfish individuals from breaking a contract after it's made? Ooh. Why, that is a very good question. Working off Hobbes' own theory of human nature, men will always seek the most advantageous situation. Well, the most advantageous situation for anyone would be that they keep their rights when others give them up. Why would people ever keep their contracts? They wouldn't? Of course not. Everyone would stab each other in the back the moment they could get away with it. Hobbes, your ideas, taken all together, are self-defeating. There's no way the social contract could be formed in the way you've described. Nonsense. Mr. Jones, you are getting carried away. I think I've made good points. Laughter is nothing more than a reaction to sudden glory, Mr. Jones. In your case, the glory you are reacting to is quite artificial. What? All of these things that you are saying, they have occurred to me. They are, in fact, the obvious progression of thought. In fact, any self-interested man would break his contract as a problem. Which is why I came up with the next step in the thought process. The next step? Alright, what do you got? Without obligations, selfish individuals are indeed likely to break the contract. However, such obligation can easily be created by fear, namely fear of repercussions. This fear can in turn be created by empowering a sovereign. Such a ruler could then deal out punishments to those who break the contract. As a result, the moral systems of the contract would remain intact until the sovereign becomes corrupt and selfish. And there we go. As you can see, Mr. Jones, my philosophy is quite sustainable. Social contract simply needs proper enforcement. Contract need to be enforced, alright? You know what? I think I actually miss talking to Euthyphro. Dad, are you gonna be okay? I don't know if there's a problem here, alright? I mean, we just needed to find the nature of morality. Maybe this is it. Do you honestly believe that? Do you think morality is determined by the rules dictators enforce? Well, no. Well, then keep looking. There has to be a flaw in his argument somewhere. Are you two finished chatting over there? Yes, Arbiter. Sorry. Hobbs, you may have thought through my previous challenges. My life depends on my only accepting the true nature of morality, and somehow I just can't accept this is it. Bah, humbug. Very well then, Mr. Jones. I have all the time in the world. Examine away. Ooh. What do you mean by that? To observe men will break the contract to their own benefit. Keeping them from doing such requires either great incentive towards keeping it, or disincentive from breaking it. As for backing, can you support that? Oh yes, just give me a moment. Ahem. Most advantageous situation for anyone would be that they keep their rights while others say, "Oh, you're not against me." Oh, everyone would stab each other in the back the moment they could get away with it. My name is Socrates Jones, and I am an imbecile. There, enough support for you? Yes. I believe that will do. Alright. Fear repels us from its source. If breaking the contract was connected with something men feared, they would be compelled to respect it. So, like, what are zombies? Excuse me? Well, people fear zombies, so if breaking the contract was tied to unleashing zombies... You dork. I think my dad gets it. Let's move on. For once, we agree. Back that up. Tell me, Mr. Jones, are you familiar with the concept of hell? In most Christian sects, fear of hell is used as a major motivator to keeping the tenets of the faith. For many, it is an even more effective motivator than the premise of heaven. Spare the rod, spoil the child. There are countless situations in which fear is used to enforce the public good. What do you mean by this exactly? Simple. The people give power to a ruler who is able to enforce the contract. By give power, you mean form an agreement with? Indeed. Is it a contract? Yes. In exchange for the power, he grants order and protection. Interesting. What do you mean by this? People agree to obey the sovereign. They give him power. Right? In return, the sovereign punishes those who disobey the social contract. This is the point of contention here. Support it? There's an agreement between the people and the protector. If the protector fails his duties, his people may rebel. In this way, the people form a contract with their ruler. Imprisonment, flaying, hanging. A ruler would be able to deal out justice as appropriate to those who deserve it. Back that up? Do you know what the law is? Yes? Have you ever heard of the law without the government? The higher power of the sovereign is necessary for such systems of enforcement to exist. The sovereign provides the obligation the social contract needs to survive. The flaw is in holding the sovereign accountable, which is something we need back in this current day and age. Back that up. Our society hasn't fallen apart yet, has it? So man, for all his inadequacies, must be doing something right. That's a matter of perspective. Save your political musings for a sequel. Funny thing about that. Alright, let's move on. You found anything, Dad? I'm thinking. Okay, no, there's a problem here. I can feel it, but where is it? Back to the top. They specifically changed the wording to include the word contracts. We present contracts need to be enforced. Hobbes. I'll admit your philosophy is very interesting from a political perspective. As a basis of morality, it simply won't stand. Nonsense. Mr. Jones, even now you lack sensible qualities such as fear. Did you learn not to make such brash statements? Nonsense. Brash? This time I think not. Boys, enough grandstanding. Get to the point. Yep. Hobbes, you said our obligation to the social contract comes from the pressures laid upon us by the sovereign, correct? Correct. And the sovereign's power to apply such pressures comes from a contract between him and the people, yes? Absolutely. Well then, Hobbes, answer me this. What obligates the king to follow his contract with his people? Eh, They've added a layer of obligation, Hobbes, but you haven't fixed anything. Problem's still exactly the same. The king, being selfish, will take advantage of his people. We're back where we started. No matter, just another moment of your time, and I will lay out what binds the king to his contract. All right. Hmm? I don't need to hear it, Hobbes. What? What? How dare you? The fact is, we can do this forever. I can continue to point out the lack of obligation in your morality. You can attempt to provide a source. You're curing the symptoms and not the disease. The question you need to answer is not what obligates the king. If the source of the obligation is the social contract, then it can only be another contract. Instead, answer me this. What obligates us to keep our contracts? What makes them the source of morality? Can you answer this, Hobbes? Well, Dad, you've actually stumped him. This is the core of your problem, Hobbes. Morality based in contracts leads to an infinite regression of obligations. Thus, it can't possibly be the true source. Gah. Wow, Dad, let's see him counter that. Well, Hobbes, how can something that requires obligation be the source of all obligation? It just doesn't make sense. Your philosophy is hobbled, Hobbes. Bum. Well, you see, preposterous. The suffering will, fear, creates in us a mechanical drive to, bug. Oh my god, he actually had a Phoenix Wright style breakdown. It's amazing. Socrates, do you know what my last words were before I died? I'm about to take my last voyage, a great leap into the dark. Desired rest, life finally free from fear and discomfort. I do not wish to be trapped in this realm, debating for all eternity. Accepting the Arbiter's challenge was a foolish choice, Mr. Jones, but needless to say, I can understand why you did so. And ignorant as you are, you have given me reason to re-examine my principles. I shall now take my leave. Food for thought. Yeah. Ooh, the pursuit of happiness. We'll do that. We'll deal with that next time, though. Until then.